Hello everybody, welcome back to the check-in. In this episode, I spoke to Dr. Deborah, who's a GP based in London but studied in Bulgaria. Can you even imagine? I didn't even know that was such a thing. We talked about women's health, we talked about advocating for yourself, and I even got a mini consultation on getting a skin pill. It's a really great conversation. If you're interested in women's health, then this one is definitely for you. Welcome to the check-in. This is where we talk to interesting people with interesting stories. With that being said, Dr. Deborah, let's check in. I like to start these conversations with a little bit about yourself, but before we get into that, can you tell me a moment of joy that you've experienced in the past week?
Oh, that's a good one. A moment of joy in the last week. Okay, I went to a wedding last week.
Oh, nice.
Last week, Thursday. And I really like going to weddings. Yeah. The reason for that is because you just get to celebrate, the couple. You get to see how they were from the beginning of their journey to where they are now. And of course, It's not just about the wedding, it's about the marriage. But it's so nice. And I like seeing how the different families interact. So that was a moment of joy, I would say, in the last week.
That's lovely. Yeah. That's so nice. Did you get dressed up and stuff? Of course. Were you in native and...
Yeah, I was. So I sewed Ashobi. I got my clothes sewn in Nigeria, but
lovely.
A story for another day because that
was it drama?
I was fighting my tailor.
Oh, no way. Seriously? Yeah. Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, and I've known her for quite some time, so I don't know why she was doing it. But it turned out okay.
It turned out okay. It's always all right on the day. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's always all right. Okay, so let's learn a little bit about yourself and who you are. Do you want to tell me, what your current positions are?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So my name is Deborah, Dr. Deborah. Currently I'm working as a GP. So I classify myself as a portfolio GP, which means that I'm a GP who does a number of different things. I don't just stay in the GP practice. 3 days a week I'm in the GP practice, traditional seeing NHS patients. And then 1 day a week I'm working in preventative healthcare at Neco Health, which I really enjoy. And then I also work as an esthetician, a medical esthetician. So that's beauty enhancing treatments like Botox, fillers. And then I do a bit of minor surgery as well. So that's cysts or lipoma removals, that kind of thing. And then I also work for a women's health consultancy as well.
Wow, so that's a lot going on.
That's a lot going on.
Oh my God. Okay, so let's start with you being a GP. How did you get there? What was that journey like?
Oh, so it's a long journey. So I started off, I went to university in Nottingham, so I did an undergrad there.
Okay.
So I did want to get into medicine, didn't get in initially, so I went to Nottingham and did medicine on biological chemistry because I really enjoyed chemistry at A-level. But when I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. But I think it's also because of the teacher.
Right.
So I had a really good teacher during my A-levels, so I really enjoyed chemistry. And I thought, okay, couldn't get into medicine, let me do biological chemistry. And it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same. I didn't enjoy it as much. And I didn't enjoy the experiments. I wasn't loving it. But I did still try and give it a try. So after I graduated, I applied for lab-based jobs and I realised, this isn't for me.
Not for you.
At all. And then after that, I went to Bulgaria. So at the time...
Wait, what?
Yeah, I went to
Bulgaria?
Yeah.
What?
So it's very random. I know, it's so random. But it's actually more common than you think. Okay. A lot of people go to Europe to study. I even have a friend who went to China to study and she's come back now. Yeah, so it is quite common for people to go to different countries to study. Okay. So I went to Bulgaria. That was a stint of 6 years.
Wow.
Med school. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, did that.
Yeah.
And then I came back in 2020. So that was the peak of the pandemic or the beginning of the during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I did a bit of locum. So locum is similar to contracting essentially. So I did that for a couple of months and then I got a foundation job, which is what you need to do when you first become a doctor. You need to do a foundation job and get signed off with all your competencies.
Okay.
And then after that, you can decide which specialty you want to do. So if it's cardiology, if it's palliative care, or if it's GP. And I went down the GP route. And then that training was an extra 3 years on top. and I qualified last year.
Wow.
October.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Wow.
you. Yeah.
That is a lot of time and energy. Oh my gosh. To help other people as well. Was this always kind of like your dream, or was this like, because like being from, you're Nigerian, right? Yeah. So being from a Nigerian background, you're either a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, maybe. Like, was it like that for you, or is this something that you actually was just like, yeah, this is a bit of me?
So it wasn't, I think it was always a bit of me. So obviously my parents are quite traditional. They do want us to have those, traditional roles and those jobs, but it's not something that they pushed for. It was something that I said from very, very young that I want you to do. I think I came back from uni one day when I was in Bulgaria, and I found a poster that I made when I was like 7 years old, and it was like a little, I guess it's our version of like a vision board now.
Yeah.
And it had, who's your best friend, your favorite food, what you want to be, and it actually had doctor on there, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is something from like young. And I think one thing that I really appreciate about my parents is that they just encourage us. They didn't push it and say, you have to do it. It's like, what do you want to do? Is this something you still want to do? If it is, then we'll support you. Okay. And so it was something I wanted to do myself.
Oh, that's lovely. And when you say encourage us,
my twin, so my sister,
amazing.
My twin sister, so we both have, we've actually gone to all the same academic institutions.
Right, okay. Okay.
From birth till now. We even work in the same practice.
What, right now? Oh my God. Don't your patients get confused? Or don't...
All the time.
All the time.
Especially now because we have the same hair. So I've had Pixie from a long time ago. She just got a Pixie in the last couple of years.
Oh, okay.
And so they get confused all the time.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Yeah. So she came to Bulgaria with you as well?
Yeah, she studied with me in Bulgaria as well. Yeah.
Wow.
And she was in Nottingham as well.
Oh, see? Wow. Was there many other like black people in Bulgaria at the time, or are there many? I don't even know what Bulgaria is like. What was it like?
So it's Eastern Europe, and I would say it's so funny because we say it's like the white version of like Nigeria essentially. So you would expect being in Europe that it has really good infrastructure, but certain parts of it really doesn't.
Oh, really?
So there are certain, projects or developments that they've started and then they've been neglected. So there's parts where it's really well developed and then other parts that isn't so well developed at all, which I think was quite a surprise for me when I went there, because my perception of Europe is that, it has really good infrastructure, really well developed, but actually that's not the reality. And in terms of us being, if there's other black people, I guess we were definitely the minority. The only black people there are the students, essentially. So people who've come from the UK, come from Nigeria, because, we're everywhere.
Everywhere, absolutely.
We're everywhere. So we were definitely the minority.
Yeah. And what was it like, though, studying there? Was like, what's the process like? Is it similar to the UK system?
It's not similar. I think studying there was interesting. That's what I would say. So in terms of let me talk about the exam process. The exam process is definitely different to how it is in the UK. So in the UK, during med school, a lot of your examinations might be multiple choice, whereas in Bulgaria, you might have a syllabus for a specific subject. So say, for instance, microbiology or anatomy. Maybe there's like 50 points or 200 points, and there was no standardization. So when it came to the exam, you would pick certain topics, and my exam will look different to someone else's depending on what you pick. Okay. And obviously, if you've studied the parts that you've picked, fantastic. But say for instance you've studied a certain part and you haven't got those subjects, then they can So I'd say the key difference is that it wasn't standardized, and then I think in terms of comparison to the UK medical system, we spent a lot of time like preclinical years. That means like the foundation years of medicine in like biochemistry, anatomy, physiology, and then we didn't spend that much time in the hospital. Right. Whereas in the UK, you spend a lot more time in the hospital earlier on. So that whole system, that NHS system, you're integrated into it quite well.
What do you see are the benefits or the pros and cons of each, would you say?
So I think I would always recommend, if you can, to study in the country that you're intending on working in. I think that's the benefit of studying in the UK, definitely. And because you're already integrated into it. So you know the NHS system. So for instance, when you're in medical school, you're already in the NHS because you'll go to your electives or you'll go to your different clinics and that will be in the hospital.
Yeah.
The difficulty sometimes that is quite difficult to integrate back into the NHS when you're coming from or study from abroad. So they call us international medical graduates.
Right.
Yeah, because even though I was born and raised in the UK, we studied abroad, so we were international medical graduates, and we don't know the NHS system. And I think that's the biggest shock that you will have. And they use a lot of abbreviations that I'm like, oh, what is that?
Right.
Me, I'm humble. I will ask you what it is. I don't pretend.
Yeah.
What does that mean? And you learn quite quickly. So that's, I would say, the benefit of studying in the UK. I think the benefit of studying abroad is that you just become an all-rounded person.
Right.
You become quite resilient, quite adaptable. You meet a lot of people, you travel, and you just learn a lot more about different cultures and how people interact with one another. And I think that's what I found enjoyable.
It's so different from anything I've ever heard, actually, to be fair, to go to Bulgaria of all places. Like, I don't even know what's the currency there?
So it was Bulgarian lev.
Okay.
But I think they're now switched to euro.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Interesting. Was there a lot of racism there? Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We did experience.
Yeah.
Definitely did experience racism.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. How did you cope with that, or how did you manage that?
I mean, I guess it was definitely challenging. I think because in the UK, of course, you experience racism, but it might be institutionalized. Whereas in Bulgaria, it was very... And I guess you do still definitely experience like overt racism here. But that hadn't really ever been my experience. Or if it had been, it was like few and far between. Whereas in Bulgaria, it was like, oh, okay, they are, treat me a certain way because I'm black. So for instance, getting into a taxi, there will be instances when we're trying to go to lectures and the taxi drivers will just refuse to take us. And
what did they think was going to happen?
I don't know. I absolutely don't know. Weird. And then, for instance, our white friend who's like from Germany or from Italy, they will go into the taxi and they'll be like, "Yep, where do you want to go?" And then when they would say, "Okay, guys, come in, I've got the taxi," they'd be like, "No." Yeah, so it wasn't even a thing where it was in our heads. No, it was a thing. Yeah, but I think it's a your personality. I think I just became quite numb to it and I just didn't even realise it after a while. So definitely was very aware of it in my first year. By the end of it, didn't really realise it. No, because people stare a lot.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah.
And that used to bother me a lot, but by year 6.
Is it like...
Okay.
I guess it's you kind of just brush it off. I guess like with the other students as well there, did they notice it too, and how did they deal with that? Because I'm guessing there's not many black people in your student group as it is. What were their reactions to it?
Are you talking about the non-black students?
Yeah.
So some of them, I guess for them, they didn't know how to react. I think a lot of them struggle with that because I don't think they knew how to react. So some of them will challenge them, say, why are you not taking them, etc. Some of them will walk with us. Say, for instance, we have to go to the hospital. They will walk with us in solidarity.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, which is nice. And some of them are like, I need to get to lectures or whatever and be very apologetic. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. But I mean, if it's something that's happening every single time, because it's like hit and miss.
And are you still friends with those people?
So they're just people who I went to lectures with. So they weren't people that I was really close with. The people that I was really close with, they were always in solidarity with us, which is really encouraging. But yeah, I think I didn't take it personally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank God you had your twin as well.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Because, like, imagine doing that by yourself as well. That could be very, like, soul destroying, really. Do you know what I mean? So,
it can be.
Yeah.
But I think it's the other students that made it. So that I think what's really important is having good community there. Yeah. That's what's really important. Otherwise, if you're there by yourself, I think it would be really difficult. Yeah.
Oh, God, so interesting. So did you see patients there? How was that?
Yeah.
What was that like? Because for some of them, it must be their first time seeing a black person, like...
Yeah, we did. So in our clinical years, we were obviously based in the hospital, and we had to learn Bulgarian.
Oh, wow!
Because obviously the language is.
Oh my God! Can you speak Bulgarian?
Yeah. I don't remember much of it.
Okay, what do you remember?
Oh my God!
No, we have to hear some. Can you say hi?
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Deborah.
Здравейте, казвам се Deborah.
Oh my God. Now that is a flex. Like I speak Bulgarian. Like,
Well, where are you going to speak Bulgarian?
Okay, it's true.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like Spanish or English where a lot of countries speak it. Where are you going to speak Bulgarian?
Yeah.
It's very similar to Russian though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's certain things like yes,
Yeah.
no, it's very similar.
Okay. Interesting. Does it ever come in handy? Like here?
Do you know what? It doesn't. So I think when I first qualified, it did.
Yeah.
Because I was working in an area that had a high population of like Bulgarians.
Right.
So I would say a couple of things just to get by for the for like clerking them in.
Okay.
But now I don't really have any Bulgarian patients, so it's not really that handy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when I do see a Bulgarian patient, I surprise them like, oh,
Yeah.
hi, in Bulgarian, and like, oh.
They must be so shocked.
My little party trick.
Yeah, I love it. So I'm guessing, so as you were saying, like with some of the patients and stuff, like,
Yeah, so we had to learn how to speak Bulgarian. Some of them were really receptive and really helpful. Some of them didn't want to speak to us. And it wasn't specific to Black students. It was just, this is long because I'm unwell in the hospital.
Right.
And now I'm having to speak broken Bulgarian with students, and there's like 20 of you here. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Which is understandable.
Yeah.
Which is understandable. Yeah.
Interesting. Because it's just like they almost like need a translator.
Yes. And
while
it would be,
they're
it would
in
be the
pain
lecturer.
or suffering in some sort of way. Oh my God. So you was there for about 6 years and then you came back to the UK. Wait, is it cold in Bulgaria? What's the weather like?
Yeah. So they have like all 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So they would have summer, autumn, winter, spring. The winters were very cold,
Really?
like really cold, -10, -15.
Oh God, no.
A lot of snow. But the good thing is you go skiing as well, which is
Oh, really? Did you learn how to ski?
Yeah, I learned how to ski.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I learned how to
That's
ski.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that.
And then the summers were really hot. Yeah, so it was
really?
very hot. So like 40 degrees.
Oh.
Very hot. Really good
I
though.
have no concept at all of at all. Okay.
It is by, where is it by? It borders Romania on one part. It's very close to Turkey as well. So that kind of
that area.
Yeah.
So you came back to the UK. When you came back to the UK, did you go straight down the GP route then, or no? What did you do first?
So we have to do the foundation training.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to do foundation training. But as I said before, it's quite difficult, or it's even more challenging now to get a job in the NHS because they want you to have experience.
Right.
Yes, you have the clinical knowledge, but it's a lot different working in the NHS, which is fair, and it's all about patient safety.
Yeah.
So I started locum in first, which is like contracting, and it's just short-term locums. So there was no career progression as doing locum work. It's like service provision.
Right.
So I was doing that initially, and then I did my foundation training F2, which is basically it's compulsory training that you have to do before you get signed off, and then you can choose a specialty.
I don't think there's many GPs that look like you do. You look stunning, by the way.
Thank you.
Loving the look. I absolutely love it. How much of yourself do you bring to work?
That's a really good question. So I would say now I bring a lot more of myself to work. Initially, probably not so much. And I think it's because I struggled where to draw or toe the line.
Okay.
And because I think being a GP, you have the opportunity of building rapport with your patients, which is really good because you get to see them so many times. I have my regulars who I see all the time. And as a result, we build rapport, familiarity. And so when you do that, they can ask me about my weekend or what did you do or where'd you get your nails done and stuff like that. And so I come to work and I'm 100% myself now. I will say, okay, that's actually something I've struggled with. And when I say that's something I've struggled with, I'm meeting them where they're at and they feel a bit more listened to, a bit more heard, and they can understand that I'm, empathizing with them. So now I dress how I like.
Yeah.
I don't mind because I've got quite a few piercings.
Okay.
And traditionally, doctors, it will be very taboo for doctors to have piercings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, of course. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, but now I'm 100% myself.
Yeah.
100% myself. And I think how I'm encouraged is that patients still take me seriously, despite looking how I'm looking, and maybe I don't look like the conventional doctor.
And they might open up to you more, actually.
Yeah,
you know, just like if you're just a bit more chill about it, you know.
Because you're being yourself, and it's a lot easier to be yourself than it is to be someone else. Because I think when I was trying to be someone else, I was always like tense and like, oh, if I say something.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of pressure, and there's so many like expectations of what, you know, what a traditional, I guess, like doctor would come across as.
Yeah.
How's your handwriting?
I've got great handwriting.
Oh, do you? Okay, cool. Just because you know the doctor's nose, yeah.
Searchable, you can read it.
Yeah. So in your career so far, like just a general question, but have you ever had a time where you kind of like doubted yourself in terms of what you're doing? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think I think at each stage when I was progressing, I doubted myself. So obviously coming back to the UK from Bulgaria, it was a culture change. It was a culture shock because, you know, I've been so accustomed to, you know, the medical system in Bulgaria, and now I'm coming to the UK, which is completely different. There's so many like rules and regulations here, which is good because it ensures patient safety, but that's not necessarily the case in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
And so I was always worried about, oh my gosh, am I actually supposed to be here when I first came? Yeah, which was challenging, but I think I learnt and worked within my competency, and then I built my confidence, and that was a lot better. And then obviously when I started GP training, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed because, again, you're changing your environment. So I was in the hospital and now I'm going to a GP setting, and it's just different cultures where you're going.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I struggled, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really know what to do here. I remember the first day of my training, I cried like a baby.
Oh, serious?
Yeah, I pulled up to the GP surgery and I was like, where am I?
Oh.
I was like, I don't want to do this. No one here looks like me. I was like, nah, I don't want to do it. And I cried.
Yeah.
And then I sucked it up and I just went in, and it was fine.
Yeah.
The partners at the surgery were fantastic.
Okay.
I had a really good colleague who I was with for a majority of my training, so that really helped. But yeah, there's been times when I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be here, but even still, it's just, you do it when you're scared.
Yeah. I think I was saying that in a previous episode, that, you know, sometimes you just got to feel the fear and do it anyway.
Yeah.
You know? Tell me, what's the women's health consultancy?
Yeah, so I work with a company called Gaslighting Health. So it's a women's health consultancy, and what we do is that we consult with different companies and brands who are making products for women. So for instance, if they're making femtech company or femtech product, or if they're making period products for women, we help to discuss with them about compliance, governance, just to have women in mind when they are making the products.
Why are you so passionate about what you do?
Is that in terms of GP, in terms of...
Just like I guess like in terms of like women's health in general and that type of thing, and just like your career, like what drives your passion?
I think my biggest thing, is patient education, because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there at the moment. The reason why I'm so passionate about it is because it's an opportunity for me to educate my patients, educate women on, you know, the things that they're experiencing. And I think in that way, you're able to feel empowered. People are able to take control of their life and say, actually, no, I'm not necessarily a victim of my symptoms or of what I'm going through. I can take control, even though despite going through these things. And I really enjoy that. Yeah. I enjoy seeing how patients are transformed from the beginning of the consultation to the end, because they have the information, they feel empowered, they feel like, okay, this is a situation, it's not the best, it's not ideal, but this is what I can do. And yeah, that's why I really enjoy it.
When it comes to like women's health in general, what do you think the biggest gaps are?
I think there's a massive gender gap in healthcare in general. I think the biggest gap is probably the time in which certain conditions are being diagnosed in women. Okay. So things like endometriosis is taking average about 8 years in some places. So
8 years?
8 years for diagnosis.
Why is it so long?
Because a lot of the time, unfortunately, women's conditions are being dismissed. They are being told that their symptoms are normal, or, you know, they're exaggerating their pain or certain things. And it's taking a long time for them to be referred to get further investigations. And so that's why there's such a long waiting list. And even when you look at, okay, ourselves, we take even longer. So I think we're an extra 1.5 years longer.
Black women
for black women to be diagnosed, which is unfortunate. But those are the gaps that we're experiencing. It's taking a long time for patients to just be heard. So even just simple period pain, women are struggling just to continue doing the things that they do on a normal day-to-day basis, just carry out the activities of the daily life. They're struggling.
Yeah. With that though, so what when it comes to endometriosis, when should you as a woman like go to your GP and raise the alarm? What kind of symptoms are you looking at? Or
if you're having period pain and you're not able to continue your daily activities, that's not normal.
Okay.
When you're like bedridden for days, you're not able to walk, it's really painful for you to open your bowels and pee and all of those things, I'll be like, what's going on there? I have a low threshold for women's health. Like I have a very we're doing a scan, we're doing bloods. That's me personally, but not all clinicians are like that. And it might be nothing. With endometriosis, the only way you're able to really diagnose it, like the gold standard, is by doing a camera test, which is a laparoscopy. You put 2 cameras in the tummy, and they go around and see if there's any endometrial tissue, essentially. Scans do show it, but only at the very later stage.
Right. So it might be
it's not too late, but it does take a while for then you to get diagnosed, which is why I have a low threshold. Okay, I say, let's try this, let's try that. If that hasn't worked, okay, I'm referring you, because you still might wait a year on the waiting list. Symptoms are like really heavy periods, very painful periods. If you're having inconsistency in bleeding, pain that's outside of your normal cycle, you should have a bit of discomfort, but not where it's like debilitating.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So it's a lot. In general, why do you think that so many black women in particular feel dismissed by like the healthcare system in this country?
Systemic racism, isn't it? Unfortunately. And I think for me personally, I think my perception is that they see us as being strong.
Right.
Because they see us as being...
they do.
Yeah, they see us as being strong. They feel like, no, we can, tolerate the pain. Oh, she's quite strong. Don't worry, she can last a little bit longer. Whereas, maybe our other counterparts may not be seen as strong physically, so they need to be seen to a little bit quicker. And I think when you give us that title of being strong, we are unnecessarily suffering.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it takes a little longer for us to be referred, which is really, really, really sad. Really, really sad, because we are definitely suffering when we don't need to be.
How do you, I guess, I don't want to say fight that, but how do you combat that with what you do? And because obviously you're privy to the conversations that we don't hear as a patient. So like, are you the type of person to be like, oh no, actually, like, encouraging your colleague to actually go and refer that person or whatever? Or is it just you just kind of deal with your patients and that's it, and that's the end of your jurisdiction, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. There's 2 conversations. The first being, you're not going to always see the patients that your colleagues see. So imagine, for instance, I'm seeing 30 patients in a day. I'm not going to go into my colleagues' notes and see what they're seeing each patient for. It's not realistic. So you only end up seeing those patients if they decide that they want to see someone else. Then you can see what has happened beforehand, and maybe that person wasn't referred. And then you can say, okay, why wasn't this person referred? Or you can have an open conversation. We do like to do like MDTs, where you bring a case to a clinical setting and we have a conversation. What do you think we should have done about that? And I think that's the only way that doctors are learning now. And I think people are becoming, or clinicians are becoming, a bit more aware of the symptoms and of course of the little diagnoses that patients are having, and they are having a lower threshold to refer. But I think it wasn't the same initially. I think the younger generation of doctors as well are helping to empower patients as well.
Are doctors aware that we think this as well? Or like we're aware of like, you know, you're not going to necessarily give me painkillers straight away. Are they aware of that? And you're...
I think it depends. I think it depends. So I think currently, or in my practice, I see a lot of women's health, and the male doctors don't typically see a lot of the women health issues. And that's just because in terms of comfortability, freedom as well, and a lot of women would prefer to see another woman.
I was going to say that. Can you opt for
You
that?
can opt for that. Yeah, okay. You can say women, female only GP. You can do. Okay. Especially if we have to do examinations. It's an intimate examination.
Yeah.
People just feel more comfortable having a woman. But not in saying that, it doesn't mean that a man won't see women's health and they're not competent enough to see it.
Yeah.
But I think there needs to be conversations or ongoing conversations in the cases where, you know, my male colleagues might see women, or when, you know, someone like me is not around.
Yeah.
Because you still need to be competent. Similar, I would see a male patient.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's just about having that ongoing conversations. If there's something that I feel like, that doesn't necessarily sit right, I will challenge my colleagues, same way they challenge me and say, oh, you made a mistake here.
Yeah.
And that's the way you learn.
I think that some Black women have normalised pain because they don't feel like they're going to be listened to anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so. And I think because they've been experiencing it from such a young age, potentially, and even if you think about parents, sometimes parents like to do that thing where like, oh, you're fine, you're okay. Are you the first? Like, you know, take paracetamol, let's be going.
Get some rub.
Yeah, so I think it's not just systemic, it's also a house. I think it's a cultural thing as well, where we're just like, no, we're okay. And we also think, yeah, I'm fine. So I think, yeah, I would agree that women also themselves think, I'll be fine, when actually they're not. And it gets to a really bad point when they could have got help much sooner.
Yeah. How do you think they can combat that? Or how do you think...
I just say like, well, baby girl. And I don't mean that in like the materialistic sense where you need to, where it's like what you can get. No, that's not what I mean. I mean it in the sense that be tender with yourself. Listen to your body. If you're in pain, it's actually okay. You don't need to... And of course, I don't know people's situations at home.
Yeah.
Sometimes people's situations are difficult where they have a lot of responsibility. But I think I'm really big on wellness. I'm really big on maintaining good mental health and well-being. And I think it's actually okay to accept help as well. It's actually okay. And it's also helps to foster a sense of community because you are allowing people to take the burden when you're not able to, and vice versa.
Planning a wedding, traditional engagement, or milestone celebration? Vendor Finder helps you navigate the unique beauty of Black British events. From finding the perfect Alaga and MUA to sourcing the best DJs, visit vendorfinder.co.uk, the UK's premier directory dedicated to the Black British community. So, what are some statistics, if any, that really concern you about women's health?
Maternal statistics.
Right.
So in like maternal deaths, Black women are unfortunately 4 times more likely than our white counterparts to die during, say, like the perinatal period or the postnatal period, which is quite...
It's alarming.
It's alarming. It's alarming. And I learnt that mainly when I was working in Obs and Gynae, which is a rotation I did during my GP training. Okay. And it's just because there's just so many things that can lead up to it. So inattentiveness or just inappropriate clinical care, women being left for prolonged periods of time, women not being treated soon enough. There's so many different things and factors that contribute to that, but it is quite alarming. And I understand why, you know, my friends who, when they're pregnant, they're very worried, and they really do research which hospital is good for them to go to because it's important. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
really.
Yeah,
because you hear horror stories, right?
You can decide where you want to give birth.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Wait, what?
Yeah, you can decide where you can give birth.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What,
So
anywhere in anywhere in the country or anywhere in
ideally,
London?
anyway, in London. But
Yeah.
the things you have to consider is obviously the distance from your house.
Yes.
Say, for instance, you're now in labour. Just because you want to go to, let's say, Guy's in St Thomas's, are you going to be travelling an hour?
Right.
It's not always...
Not practical.
It's not practical. So that's something to always consider. But yeah, you can look at the rating of the maternal services at a particular hospital.
Oh, is that public information?
Yeah.
Okay, but is it
Accurate, yeah.
Yeah, but also can you see by race as well? Or is that
No, I'm not quite sure, you know. I'm not quite sure. But I think things that you could always do is just ask your friends.
Yeah.
What was your experience like in this hospital? And there's loads of things online now. People saying this is what happened to me, what didn't happen to me. And of course you have to take everyone's experience with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But it helps. Yeah.
Yeah, because you want to make sure you have as much information as possible for one of the things that's going to be the most challenging in your life ever, really. It's
a challenging period. It's a scary period.
It's very scary because you're so vulnerable.
Very vulnerable.
Right? And you hear these horror stories. I heard this, I saw this thing online the other day, like in the States, I don't think they're doing this here. In the States, like if a woman refuses a C-section, they can now like go on a Zoom and get a judge on the Zoom, and the judge can order it. Yeah, which is insane to think about. But I mean, their laws are going crazy, so yeah.
But that takes away like patient autonomy.
Yeah.
Like you have, of course, you have a duty as a clinician. You have a duty to the child, but say for instance, you have like, what is the reason for them doing that?
I've no idea, but I think that there is this definitely like this thought process that if you have concerns or if you have pushback with your kind of care team, then you're almost punished in these ways. That's the kind of
that's
line I'm in.
That's just gonna, how are women gonna feel safe?
Exactly.
Because I think as well, what tends to happen, especially with Black women in particular, is that we tend to be offered like the surgical options first, as opposed to, you know, we can labour, you know, naturally, or we can labour and deliver vaginally.
Yeah.
I think because there's a fear. Now they are kind of using defensive medicine with like, okay, no, let's remove that and, you know, let's do surgery, when actually she might be able to deliver vaginally on her own. It might take a little bit longer, but I think that also doesn't help as well, because women are now having loads of C-sections when they might not necessarily need to.
Yeah.
Because obviously the pregnancy and delivery is a beautiful thing. And if able to,
it scares me, but
of course, it is scary. Doesn't mean two things can be true at once.
True,
two things can be at once. But I think sometimes, and I'm not saying this as to say, oh, every woman should be allowed to deliver vaginally, because I think that's unsafe. If the baby's at risk, definitely, if mother's at risk, you know, you have to give her good counsel, give her all the information, say, look, we've given you this time period. I think there should be negotiation.
Right.
It shouldn't just be, this is what's happening and that's it. Unless it's an emergency, then there's no time for chat. Yeah, no, there should be a negotiation. There should be a full comprehensive conversation, so the mother understands why this is happening, so she feels, okay, it's not that the decision was taken out of her hand. And I don't think that always happens, which is a bit unfortunate.
Why? Do you know why that is? Is that just because, like, I guess, like, institutions like the NHS, like, notoriously are overworked, understaffed, and all that kind of stuff? Is it just like a byproduct of that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think largely that is the case. I think they're overworked, don't have enough time to see patients, and there's not enough staffing as well. So you end up seeing a lot more and having to balance. Say, for instance, you have a job list of 50 things to do. You now have to prioritise which one's the most emergent or which one's the most urgent thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot and it can be overwhelming.
Gosh. What are 3 things that women are often told that are normal that should not be ignored?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. 3 things that women are often told are normal and which should not be ignored. I would say clots larger than a 10p coin during your
yes.
periods.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That is too much.
Mm-hmm.
I would say having painful periods which debilitate you.
Mm-hmm.
That is definitely not normal. The third one would be, oh gosh, bleeding, in terms of having bleeding to the point where you're passing out, or to the point where you're feeling dizzy or having palpitations.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people have quite heavy periods.
Yeah.
And some people are told, oh, that's normal, just part of your period. You should not be bleeding that much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So in terms of quantity, it should only be about 80 ml.
Okay, I've heard this, but how am I measuring that?
It's difficult to quantify.
Yeah.
It's actually very difficult to quantify. Mm-hmm. But we normally say how often are you changing pads.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So in terms of some people go every single time they go to the toilet,
mm-hmm.
they change their pad, but they don't necessarily need to change it because it's not full.
Okay.
But say for instance you're changing your pad every hour and your pad is actually full, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Typically your pad should be changed, say, every 3 to 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And that's when you realise, okay, it's a bit full now. But if you're changing it less than that, going through 6-7 pads a day, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay. Gosh. When you say full, what do you mean? Because
soaked.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because I'm just like, not the hot, I'm never leaving it that long.
No, of course, yeah. But obviously... No, I don't expect you to leave.
Yeah. It's so gross. I can't lie. I'm definitely one of those people. I get grossed out by periods anyway. Like my whole life, I just think I just don't like bloods in general. So it's just always it feels like a very away from me. Like
it's part of you.
I know, but I have to detach like mentally. Like I just If I deep it too much, I'll throw up or something. Like I just can't.
Would you say you're squeamish then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
110%. 110%. Although the only thing that I'm not really squeamish is the pimple popping, which you do, which is
I do.
amazing to me. Like, seriously, and I encourage you. Actually, I implore you to film it, please. I think you'll make. I was watching this woman who no, it's so bad. But basically she does waxing.
Okay.
And she does extractions after the wax as well. She's got like 1 million views.
There's something, I don't know, there's something so satisfying about watching things like that. I don't know what it is. And it's like the repetitiveness of it as well. Yeah. Fantastic.
And then it's clean. It's just like there's no dirt in there.
It's like aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, it really, really is. Yeah. Do you see like many gross things?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah, all the time.
What's the grossest thing? Can you even say?
Ooh, the grossest thing.
I'm going to get grossed out.
It depends on what... Do you know what? I feel like I've become so desensitized to what definition of gross is.
Okay.
Because I do so much.
Yeah.
Like from doing PR examinations, which is not the nicest part.
What's PR?
PR is like doing a rectal examination. So checking the back passage to seeing a really infected wound that has now grown maggots and things like that.
Oh
yeah.
Oh God.
You said gross.
Yeah, that is gross. I wasn't expecting maggots.
Yeah.
People are living with this. Oh wow.
Yeah. But these people are often ones who aren't able to take care of themselves.
Right.
Or, they might have had or experiencing some self-neglect.
Yeah.
And then, a loved one has come and said, oh, what's going on? Taken them to hospital. And then, removed an item of clothing and then like revealed a really badly infected wound and things like that. Yeah, I've seen a lot of things.
And how do you, I guess, okay, if you're not squeamish, but how do you...
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to hold it together. Seriously.
I think, like I said, I just become desensitized to it.
Yeah. And like smells as well.
Yeah, you just...
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some things that are like really pungent.
Yeah.
I'm like, oof, I need to take a minute here. Or I put on a mask because that does protect you as well.
Okay.
But sometimes it's just like, yeah, get on with it. And I think sometimes the patients end up being a bit more embarrassed. And I'm like,
Right.
no, don't worry. I did this last week. Don't worry. Yeah. So you become desensitized to it.
Okay, that's good. That's, what do they call that? Bedside manner.
Yeah,
having a good bedside manner. I would not. I'll just be like, babe, I can't. Like from the doorway. Sorry. Can you shift to yourself over? Like, oh my god, no. Is there any recommendations you have for people who find it difficult to speak up for themselves, maybe a bit introverted or something like that?
Yeah.
What would you suggest?
Loads of suggestions. So the first one, I would say go with someone to an appointment. Sometimes you have been, or women have been experiencing whatever they're experiencing for a prolonged period of time, and they just feel tired. They feel overwhelmed by having to now communicate this all over again because they've been, maybe talking about it or experiencing it for so long. So just telling someone. So for instance, it could be your sister, it could be your best friend, it could be your parent even. And sometimes when you're not able to talk, they can chime in. I see it all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're not able to say anything because you're just like, I'm at a loss of words. Now that I'm in front of the doctor, I can't even begin from head to tail what I've been experiencing. And they chime in all the time and they help to fill in the gaps, which is really helpful. I would always say to document your symptoms, because it's really helpful to have like a diary of everything that you're experiencing, because it helps me as a clinician to find out if there's a pattern or not.
Yeah, okay.
And then I can see, okay, this is how long you've actually experiencing it for, or, this is what you've had here, this is what you haven't had here. And I think also sometimes we're human, we do forget as well. So I'll ask a patient, how long has this been going on for? They'll say a while. I don't know how a while is.
Yeah.
A while for you could mean beginning of today. A while for me might mean a couple of weeks. So it's really good to have context. So having a symptom diary is really, really helpful. And then
how long should you keep that for though?
So at least 4 weeks.
Okay.
At least 4 weeks. But as long as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it's actually evidence that no, I've actually been experiencing this thing for a long time.
Yeah.
That leads on to my next point, which is, say, for instance, you don't feel supported by the clinician or the doctor that you're seeing, you can ask for a second opinion.
Yeah.
You can always ask for a second opinion. Okay, I don't necessarily agree with what you said here. I'm going to ask for a second opinion to see if, what you've said and what the next doctor, if you agree. And if you want to be referred and they're not, investigating further, you can ask for them to document the reason why they're not referring you. A lot of the time, they do end up referring you.
Right, okay.
Yeah, because
just to cover their back as well.
Yeah. So those are the things that I would say.
What role do you think AI will play in healthcare? Or what role does it play?
So it does a lot at the moment. So in GP practice, at the moment it's being used as a triage system. So patients call up or, send e-consults in, and AI can say, okay, this needs a face-to-face or telephone call and things like that. Some doctors are also using it to help scribe.
Okay.
Which means that, say for instance, I'm talking now, AI will listen and then it will write my consultation notes.
Okay, yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
It's used a lot in radiology at the moment. So for instance, you go for a scan, you input it into AI will read, it will learn and it will read, okay, you've got this wrong and this wrong, this wrong, this wrong.
Oh.
Yeah. So it will have an AI generated report of a particular scan.
Yeah.
But in saying that, it's not I don't think it will ever be able to replace clinicians.
Right.
It will only be used to help and to support as opposed to replace, because AI can hallucinate.
Yeah.
It can make things up. It may not be able to take things into context. And I think that's just very, very, very dangerous. And I think when people are creating, health tech companies where a user is going to be using it, there needs to be clinical safety built into it to prevent the patient from any harm.
Yeah. Okay, so when I get my blood results, I shouldn't put them into ChatGPT and for it to tell me what's wrong. No?
No,
okay.
Because remember, you need to, when you have blood test results, normally the doctor's doing a specific blood test for a specific reason, if they're looking for something. And then they will be able to ask you a focused history based on your blood test results. Mm-hmm. And they won't also...
You can tell I've done it.
And they won't be able to understand what's been happening before. Whereas I know you, so I know, okay, this is normal for you. We've investigated that this is normal. It's not now going to tell you, because ChatGPT is going to tell you you've got cancer.
Yeah, basically.
It's going to tell you that you have cancer.
All the time.
Happens all the time?
Yeah.
Happens all the time. So I always say, it is good if you want to use it to kind of bring your ideas into one place, but don't focus in it solely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only used as like a guide.
No, I hear that. No, for sure.
I think it has its place in healthcare.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like what you said there about it hallucinating is very interesting, actually, because where in the system does it flag the hallucination? How can you detect that it's had a hallucination? And can you only see that when something goes wrong?
So that's why you would always have to have a clinician there. So say, for instance, it generates a report, it will always be read. It's not going to be something that, AI generates and it's going to be sent to the patient. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not.
Okay.
There will always be a radiologist who will still go through the report, go through the images themselves. And if it agrees, yep. If it not, what's that? No. So there always has to be some clinical governance around that. Yeah.
Okay. What made you interested in the preventative healthcare side of things?
So preventative healthcare is basically capturing your symptoms where they are at this moment and preventing it from becoming a full-blown disease or condition where you might need treatment. So it's trying to prevent you from developing long-term diseases and conditions. Okay. And that's just by prevention. So it's basically lifestyle, like longevity, medicine, that kind of field at the moment. Yeah.
Okay.
So what made me go into that? So I like to be on two sides of the system. Mm-hmm. So obviously the NHS at the moment, it is quite reactive in the sense that I treat you because you've come to me about something. Mm-hmm. And as a result, I'm treating you. So you've already got that thing. Mm-hmm. Whereas with preventative healthcare, it prevents you, it captures it before it becomes a disease and you can kind of turn it around. So we do a lot of, blood pressure checks, lifestyle, what contributes to maybe high blood pressure. We do skin checks to check for precancerous lesions.
Okay.
Encouraging SPF, because a lot of people don't use SPF.
Well, this is a whole debate. I didn't even know it was a debate, but a lot of people think that you should not be using SPF, especially if you're black, which I had no idea was a thing. And it's confusing to me.
We should always use SPF.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should still use SPF just because you're always going to get UVA and UVB rays all throughout the year. And just because we're darker, we have a darker fixed patch trick, that's what it is. You should still definitely be using SPF. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So because using SPF is one of the preventative causes or preventative measures for things like skin cancer and skin changes. So why wouldn't you use it? Just because we're darker and it's maybe has lower prevalence doesn't mean that you shouldn't be using it. Definitely should still be using it.
Okay, cool.
I use
believe
SPF.
you. Yeah.
Factor 50.
I love it. And then based on so not just your blood pressure, but based on the results, there's recommendations?
Yeah. Recommendations. So we normally have a questionnaire beforehand, and it's an opportunity for me to understand the person in front of me. So what they're eating, in terms of their exercise, in terms of if they smoke, if they drink alcohol, if they have any family history of any conditions. And well, the company that I'm working for, we mainly focus on dermatology and cardiovascular system. Okay. So then in terms of the blood test, we do cholesterol, we do, what else we do? We do an ECG, we listen to your heart sounds, see if there's any murmurs, and all those things. And then we also check the skin as well. And then based on everything that we see, we will make recommendations. So in terms of stress factors, if there's anything that's causing a lot of stress, if their sleep quality is really bad, it's like the things that we discuss.
Okay, cool. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
I think I've seen, I think a lot of people go to Turkey and do this, I think, and that sort of thing.
There's a big thing on
TikTok and...
in what's it called? Medical tourism.
Yes. Yeah. But they do it here as well, so,
they do. I think... That's where they have, it's like a USP now because a lot of people are going abroad because, fair enough. It's actually cheaper
Yeah.
abroad. But the only thing is you go abroad and you still need to come to the UK to get it, to understand the result.
Right, yeah. So I have some members' questions now.
Members?
Yeah, so this is specifically the Sardinians. They have a few questions, so I'm going to ask you. Yes.
Fantastic.
I know. They're lovely. They're lovely. Lovely people. Okay, so from Maya. Maya has a question about perimenopause. So she says, perimenopause and menopause, any advice on how to navigate without having to go for medications like HRT? Do symptoms ever stop? Like hot flushes, mood swings, dry hair and skin, hormone belly, etc.
Yeah, there are loads of alternatives. So when I see my patients in clinic, I always give them options. HRT isn't the only option. There are alternatives, and there are herbal alternatives. So like black cohosh, red clover, things like that. The website to go on is Patient UK. Really, really good website. It's very informative and it's easy to understand. You can write alternatives to HRT and it will give you a list of all the different things. So if those herbal things don't work, the other alternative, which people are a bit about, is that you can use some antidepressants.
Right.
So not everyone is a candidate for HRT. Mm-hmm. So if you have a history of things like breast cancer, you wouldn't be a candidate for HRT. But we will still need to, it doesn't mean that you're now neglected and you're left to experience those things on your own.
Yeah.
So alternatives would be things like antidepressants, and they work for the vasomotor symptoms. Vasomotor symptoms are like the hot flushes, the change in mood and things like that.
Do they?
Yeah.
How?
It does.
What? Well.
Yeah. So that's an alternative, and it works really well. Mm-hmm. And in terms of this,
do we know why that they work?
It just works on the same system.
Okay.
So the same way that estrogen's replaced, it works on the vasomotor system.
Right.
And it helps to reduce the hot flushes and things like that. Mm-hmm. In terms of the length, it depends. So that menopause, like if you have blood tests, it's not going to tell you where you are in that timeline. It can take up to 10 years. Some people.
Insane.
It can
That's insane. And you know what also is wrong, yeah? That they don't tell us this.
Yeah, it can take up to 10 years.
When we're younger, they should tell us.
Yeah, it takes up to 10 years. But also, I'm really big on lifestyle as well. Mm-hmm. So really big on movement.
Yeah.
Definitely really big on movement. And also with diet. Those things will always help in terms of your perimenopausal or menopausal symptoms, particularly in terms of the movement. Because as you get older, your bone density does decrease, so it goes down.
Yeah.
Especially during perimenopause or menopause. And to prevent you from having like achy bones and have good bone health, I recommend resistance training.
Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't mean you need to go to the gym and get jacked, but resistance training.
How many times a week do you think?
So it's open for discussion.
Right. Okay, cool.
It depends on where you are. I meet you where you're at. So if you're not going at all, I'm not going to tell you to go 5 times a week.
Right.
It's not sustainable. I would say start off with 1. What tends to happen is that if I tell you 5 times a week, you're going to feel overwhelmed. So if you don't go once, you're going to like, that's it. I'm not going to be able to go 5 times now. And then you're not going to go at all.
Yeah.
But if I tell you go once, doesn't matter that you haven't gone today. You can go tomorrow. If you haven't gone today. Or tomorrow you can go on Thursday. Do you know what I mean? So start off with once, and then if you're consistent, say in a couple of weeks' time, go twice.
Yeah.
And go like that. So just meet the person that they are and just gradually increase until they get to a point where they're comfortable.
Makes sense. Question, not members' question, my question is around BMIs. Mm-hmm. Right. Do you use BMIs? And does that make sense for black people? Because I'm always told, people always say like you should ignore it if you're black because it's not based on our body makeup.
Yeah.
Is it?
So at the moment we use BMI.
Yeah.
That's just because that's what's integrated into our system. But it's not the most accurate. And it's not necessarily depending on whether you're black or not. It's not the most accurate because it doesn't take into consideration bone density.
Okay.
So if you have, black people tend to have thicker bones and it's a bit more dense. And because it's more dense, it's heavier.
Yeah.
So that's not going to, in BMI, it doesn't take that into account. And also it doesn't take into account muscle mass. If you have more muscle, that's heavier than fat. That's going to make you heavier. So you see, the people who are really toned, they have high BMI, but it's not representative of what their actual body makeup is. So the best thing is actually height to waist circumference.
That's height to waist. Okay.
Yeah, the actual circumference, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I believe that is. And that is that kind of detects your like visceral fat, and that's a better representative.
Okay. So is there a goal? Is there like a goal to what that should be? What that ratio should be?
Know.
Okay.
I don't actually know.
Okay, I don't remember. You can tell us.
I'll let you know
on the screen because I want to know. Okay, cool. Okay, another question: is there a better alternative to Botox? What age should one start? Seen a lot of young women getting it in their mid-20s and 30s. Is this wise?
So I always take it as a pinch of salt. I mean, if you're cautious about it, I would say hold off.
Yeah.
And have like a cooling off period. And I guess it depends on what's your aim. What do you want to achieve from getting Botox? So in terms of other things to Botox, there are things you can do, but it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So number one, you start off early. Good skincare.
Yeah.
So moisturizing, all of those things. Depending on what your skin quality is like, you can use actives, all of those things. That's the best thing because you're preventing having those lines to begin with.
Yeah.
If you already have the lines, Botox is kind of like the only thing at the moment. You can do microneedling, you can do microdermabrasion, all of those things. Those help to improve the lines, but Botox prevents you from actually developing them because it prevents you from moving your forehead, so you're not getting those lines to begin with. So it's depending on what you're trying to achieve. I don't necessarily think you necessarily need it in your mid-20s. I would start off a little later.
Okay.
But I'm a very conservative practitioner. And I would only say start using it when you start seeing those lines. If you want to prevent them from happening straight to begin with, people start younger, but I always push out the boat. Yeah. And the reason for that is because I think there's a lot of like body dysmorphia and oh my gosh, and you should be allowed to age gracefully.
Yeah.
So I would always push out the boat as much as possible.
Do you think that's going to be a thing? Like, I feel like it's like that's diminishing, like aging gracefully.
It is. But we're in a digital age. You know, we're in an age where everyone has access to what other people look like and all the beauty treatments that they have and everything's so accessible. And I think that's the reason why the industry has grown exponentially as opposed to, you know, when we didn't have Instagram and we didn't have TikTok and all of those things. And I think it's only just going to get worse. I don't see it changing.
Yeah. Gosh. I know it's expensive as well. That's the thing. Honestly, it's like a budget item. Okay, another question from Maya. Maya says, asks, what skin treatment routine do you recommend for mature black or brown skin?
Oh, so having a good cleanser. If you wear makeup, I would recommend double cleansing. Yeah. So that's with like an oil cleanser first, and then you can use a water-based one.
Yeah.
And I would recommend using like starting off like really, really simple if you don't have a routine whatsoever. And in terms of if you have mature skin, if there's like fine lines, retinol is a good one. Like start off with a very mild retinol, doesn't need to be crazy. And then SPF. SPF is I know people, this is controversial, but SPF is like the number one thing that prevents your skin changing so quickly and so rapidly.
Really?
Yeah, so there's even research about it. So for instance, there was a truck driver who was always exposed to the sun on one particular side of his face. And the other side, because it was inside the car or inside the HGV van, it was never really exposed to sunlight. And they did a side-by-side comparison of both his sides. And one was like very, not necessarily like 50 years younger, but it was significantly less aged than the other side.
Wow.
And that's just because of sun exposure.
Yeah.
The sun ages the skin a lot. So I would always recommend SPF. Black women, we don't always use SPF, especially the older generation, they don't use SPF. But I would always recommend SPF, especially during the summer. All year round, but especially during the summer.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you can always invest in skin pills, like a very mild skin pill.
Yeah.
Once, twice a year, if you want to just keep everything nice and supple. That's
Yeah,
what I
I
you don't need to do
really
too
want to do
much.
that. I really want to do it, but I'm so scared.
Which one have you seen or looked into?
What was it called?
The Perfect Pill was a good one.
I think that's what
The
it's called.
Perfect Pill is a good one. It's
And
a good
that's
one.
within a week, right?
Yeah,
Kind of thing.
It has the whole shedding process.
Yeah.
About a week, and it's actually good for women of color as well.
Yeah.
It's a good depth, so it's a medium depth pill, but it doesn't cause like the chemical burns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cause rebound hyperpigmentation.
Okay. Yeah, because
I know, scary. You see, yeah.
I'm trying to get rid of the hyperpigmentation.
Do you have much hyperpigmentation?
I have a little. I'm wearing makeup, but like I have a little. Not, you know what? It's not significant, but I notice it.
Okay, fine.
You know, so when I get like a spot or something, like if
it's a little blemish.
Yeah. Okay. But it takes a while. Now it's getting longer and longer for it to like disappear.
Fine.
So I'm just like, I want to try a pill and just see what happens and stuff.
We'll talk offline.
Okay, cool. Okay, some more questions. Okay, Saf asks, do you have any thoughts on people being anti-medication, anti-vaxxers, etc.? People feel that going on medication leads to more side effects, illnesses, but not going on medication can be worse. People push for more natural ways of addressing the issue where possible and focusing on diet and lifestyle instead. How do you navigate that?
I think that's a really good question. So I think it depends on where you are. It depends on what the condition is. If you're able to, I would always recommend lifestyle first.
Yeah.
And I'm always going to relate it back to the patients that I see in the GP surgery. I always give them a time frame. I'm going to say, okay, this is where you're at this moment in time. I know that you're not really for medication, which is understandable because you've, come to this point, you don't have to use any medication, but I'm going to give you 3 months. That means, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to push hard with lifestyle and diet, and we'll review in 3 months' time.
Yeah.
And if at that point in the same place, I'm like, okay, so you've had all this time. You were really scared when I saw you, but clearly not enough to put those things in place. Let us try this medication. It's not a lifelong sentence. We can try it for a period of time until you're able to do the things that you said you wanted to do. And then we can wean it back as much as possible. I think there are side effects to medications, and I think whenever you're prescribing something, you have to let the patient know of all the risk and the side effects and what they can experience from it so that they can make an informed decision. And you tell them as well what are the risks of being on a certain medication, what's the risk of not being on certain medication, what it does to their health. Because at the end of the day, the patient wants to feel like they're in control as well. In terms of vaccinations, I'm pro vaccinations, but obviously I'm a clinician. I go based on evidence, essentially, in terms of like things like herd immunity and all of those things. So I'm pro vaccination. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of humming and ahhing about, especially the MMR vaccine and autism and things like that. But I think a lot of the time there's coincidence. I think there hasn't been enough research and data to say that there is a link between the MMR vaccine and also with autism. I think it just tends to present itself around the same age.
Right.
But I'm pro-vaxxer.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think a lot of us are.
I'm of the opinion you don't necessarily need to. I'm not right, you're wrong. Mm-hmm. It's not that kind of thing. You're entitled to your opinion. You have your reasons for why you don't want to do certain things, and that's okay. Either way, there's always going to be consequences. For instance, if we vaccinate and there's side effects of the vaccinations, there's those consequences, and it's important to be aware of those consequences. And there also might be consequences for not vaccinating. For instance, if you're now exposed to a certain condition or a certain bacterial or virus, there's consequences for that because you don't have the immunity for that. And the consequences might be more severe, but as long as you're making an informed risk, then I don't think necessarily anyone's like right or wrong. I'm not like super. You have to be this or that.
Saf also asks what are your thoughts on the impact of women's health of having children later in life? I assumed it was more risky, but then saw something recently in women living longer if they have children in their 30s and 40s.
So, I don't know if there's enough evidence, but I think based on the current culture, women are having children later. I think women are pursuing their careers and they get married later and all of those things. But from what we know, it can sometimes be a bit more difficult and a bit more challenging having children when you're having them later.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's not possible. And I would also encourage having women or having children when you're ready. If you're able to have them, I would say 30s is a good age. But if you're not able to, having them when you're 40, like I've seen people have kids in their 50s.
Okay.
And they have healthy children.
Yeah.
And doesn't mean that there's not more risks associated with it. There are definitely more risks. Because after the age of, is it 35 or 36, we're considered geriatric.
Why? I
Just
feel
because
like it's so out of order to label it like that. And like, I don't understand why it hasn't changed.
Yeah. So I think, I obviously I'm not working in, that field at the moment, like in terms of obs and gynae, but it's based on, the data from previously. There's just been more complications when you have children later on, but there's a lot more people having children at that age now, and that might shift in the future.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the main thing would just be taking control of your health. You want to make sure that your blood pressure is under control, that you're not, that you're eating very well, so that you reduce the complications later on in life.
Yeah. That term, geriatric, they could have just said mature. Do you know what I mean? But it's just like, no, you're a granny. Basically.
Not a granny.
All right, well, thank you for those. I've got some quick fire questions now.
Cool.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so first thing that comes to your head. Okay. What's one healthy habit everyone should start today?
Move your body.
Okay. What's your biggest health myth, pet peeve?
Biggest health pet peeve. Everyone's pre-diabetic.
But I am. I actually am. And ChatGPT told me. No, I'm joking. No, but I literally am. That's hilarious. But you should go get your blood work done to confirm, right? Okay, what is one thing women ignore too often?
Pain.
Okay, cool. Okay, if you could be on any reality TV show, which one would you be on?
Embarrassing Bodies.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Bodies,
You would be excellent on that. You'd be really, really good. Okay, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Oh, that's a good question. It's going to sound so cliche and it's going to sound like airy-fairy, but just being yourself, because no one else can be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, what's one thing this conversation has reminded you to do?
To do things that scare you and have conversations that will encourage and help other women.
I love that. And last one now. One thing you do to check in with yourself.
I sleep a lot, but I really enjoy sleep.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy sleep.
Why are you whispering it? Like, you're going to get in trouble.
Because my friends who watch this will know I really enjoy sleeping. Mm-hmm. But then I also, I'll sit down and say, okay, how I'm feeling this week. What has gone well? Mm-hmm. What hasn't gone so well? And I'll ask myself, if I'm feeling like really strong emotion about something, I'll ask, why am I feeling this way? Mm-hmm. What could be triggering it? What could be affecting it? And also, I'll also ask myself, is this a rational thought or feeling? Right. Or is it because I'm maybe projecting something or I'm internalizing something that I don't need to internalize? Mm-hmm. So yeah, I do that quite often.
I love that. That's actually interesting because you often hear about like maybe like psychologists and that sort of thing, like having to like check in with themselves or like someone that they work with, but not for like doctors and GPs and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But of course, because you're dealing with
so many people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You see a lot of people in a day, in a week. Mm. And I think a lot of the time you put on a mask. You have to.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to feel 100% all of the time. And that's okay. You can compartmentalize when you're at work. So you can, deal with the patient that you're in front of you. But you do need to go back to that and address any issues that you have.
Yeah, gosh. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. I feel like I've learnt loads as well.
I'm glad.
Which is great. Tell people where they can follow you and get in touch.
Cool. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok, and that's at cupofd_.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you. Okay, that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched to the end, you know I love you the most. As always, make sure you like the video, share with like-minded people, and leave me a comment too. Okay, see you in the next one.